Hey everyone, I'm back with a recap and review of the next batch of episodes of Love is Blind Season 4. We're gonna go over episodes 9, 10, and 11. There's a lot to cover, so let's just jump right into it. Episode 9 starts with letting us know that the weddings are just 10 days away. We pick up right where we left off in episode 8 as Marshall and Jackie return home from Chelsea's birthday celebration. Here goes Marshall.
I love Jackie. I've never been so certain about anything in my entire life. And there was never a doubt in my mind. Jackie and I were designed for each other. And so to be where we are now, I'm shocked, I'm stunned, and it hurts.
I don't even know what to say to that. He wants to talk about their issues. Jackie does not and prefers to postpone the conversation to the next day. She tells Marshall that she thought they were doing fine. Fine? Ma'am, are you okay? What part of your relationship is fine? Then, in the middle of what could have turned into a meaningful conversation, Jackie makes this random offhand comment about how pretty Marshall's eyes are. Ma'am, I'm gonna ask you again, are you okay? Your relationship with your fiancé is in shambles, and you're acting like you really don't give a damn. And that's probably because she doesn't. Bliss gets to meet Zach's family. They ask her what made Zach stand out to her. She says that he's super smart, giving, and inspiring. She also finds him to be honest and feels that she can really trust him. His family says that they really like Bliss. So, score 1 for her for winning over Zach's family. I never had any doubt that she wouldn't though. Bliss is a catch, which has me even more confused as to why, of all people, she ended up with Zach. Chelsea and Kwame go shopping. He mentions that when they woke up that morning, he asked her if she was okay. Her response, according to him, was confrontational.
When we woke up this morning, first thing that I said to Chelsea was, hey, are you okay? How you doing? You know? And her response to me was, do I sound okay or do I look okay? Almost in a really confrontational way. And it kind of hit me in a weird way.
He then proceeds to complain that he's always trying to do the good thing, but gets left feeling like everything that does go wrong is his fault. There's so much tension in that clothing store with Chelsea trying on a bunch of stuff and Kwame pretending like he really wants to be there with her. He says that he's been trying to find some alone time, but Chelsea's always in his space, and that's causing him to sometimes feel suffocated. Chelsea, for some reason, can't read Kwame's body language and the tone in his voice to know that he's not feeling the moment, and only seems to be concerned with shoving as many chocolate-covered strawberries down his throat as possible. Kwame brings up their interaction from the morning since it's clearly still bothering him. Chelsea gets her back up, defending herself, and tells him that she doesn't see her response as confrontational, but rather direct. He, once again, brings up all the things he's giving up and sacrificing for her. You see, Kwame is really not checking for Chelsea like that. In my opinion, both men and women will have to sacrifice whatever's necessary to be with who they want to be with. You may not like it, but it's gotta get done. The amount of whining Kwame has been doing in these past few episodes is telling. I bet he wouldn't complain of any sacrifices he had to make for Micah, though. Chelsea makes a bold move and flat out asks him what his answer is gonna be on wedding day. He lies and says that he's gonna say I do. I say he lies because it's obvious to me that's what he did. His body language said it all.
Do you see yourself standing there at that altar being able to say yes?
Baby.
Do you see yourself do it though?
I do. If I didn't, I wouldn't still be in this experiment.
Brett and Tiffany hang out with his friends. The couple chats about all the great qualities they admire in one another. They also share their dreams for the future and all the accomplishments they're looking forward to achieving together. Aww. Paul and Micah talk about their upcoming wedding over a meal. They talk even more, though, about how they're going to merge their lives together. Micah brings up the issue of space in Paul's place not being enough for her things, and she goes back to the idea of him moving to Arizona. She's so adamant about not letting this Arizona thing go, she even suggests that they have a long-distance relationship. Ma'am, are you okay? Paul says absolutely not. He does say he's open to going there with her temporarily if his job allows it, but he's not interested in moving there. Zach meets Bliss's mother and sisters. Her mom is so cute. She already had tears in her eyes when she hugged Zach. Her family asks about their journey up to that point. Zach explains how the show is set up and how they got to know each other before ever seeing one another. He admits that being vulnerable is a big part of the experiment, and that meant being open with multiple women. He finally reveals that he did develop feelings for 2 women at the same time, that he proposed to one of them, and realized he made a mistake and called it off. I love that her sister asked Paul probably the most important question, which is how does he know now that Bliss is the one he wants to be with? Zach says that from the first moment he saw her, he felt a connection. Bliss says that she does love Zach and wouldn't have said yes to his proposal if she didn't. Bliss's mom makes the most beautiful statement that if Bliss chooses Zach, she'll be his mom too, since his mother is deceased. Aww. Chelsea takes Kwame to meet the rest of her family. The look on his face, though, when she asks him if he's excited about it.
I'm excited. Are you?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Chelsea hypes him up and runs down a list of Kwame's credentials and accomplishments. I did clock when she mentioned that he has an MBA, and one of her family members, I don't know who, gasped with shock. Why is it surprising to find out he's highly educated? They talk about what happened in the pods, what Kwame does for a living, and where they plan on living after getting married. Chelsea's mother pulls Kwame aside for a private conversation, where we finally get a little more info on his background. I know, without a doubt, revealing what he did was uncomfortable for this man. His body language showed that. And let's not forget that he originally wanted to go with the name Alex in the pods to whitewash his identity. My words, not his. He was born and raised in Ghana until the age of 8 when he came to the US with his older brother and sister. Kwame says that maybe it is time to move somewhere else, and he's starting to look at the idea of living in Seattle as a new adventure. Now it's time to shop for the wedding attire. Everyone is in attendance, except Jackie. Micah tells Tiffany that she talked to her the day before and said she doesn't know exactly what's going on, but that Jackie's going through it. Brett pulls Marshall aside and tells him that Tiffany just texted him about Jackie not being at the wedding dress shop. Marshall is visibly upset. So where is she? Chilling at a local coffee shop. And who walks in to greet her? With a dozen red roses in hand, no less. Josh. He has a completely different disposition in this episode, probably because he's sober. He gets right to it, apologizing for his behavior at Chelsea's party, that losing her is his biggest regret, and that he loves her. Episode 10 starts with 7 days left to go until the weddings. Jackie says in her confessional that she hasn't seen Josh since Chelsea's party, and admits that when she did see him for the first time, she was immediately attracted to him. He says because of his background in sports, he was taught to never show his emotions. He asks her where her head is at, and Jackie does not hold back. She says that Marshall is too sensitive for her, and tells Josh about their argument over her telling Marshall to boss up and him angrily leaving their apartment. Then she adds the final nail to the coffin by saying she doesn't care how Marshall feels and she regrets her decision choosing him. Josh asks her if she could see herself marrying him, and she says yes, but then goes on to say that marriage in general scares her and it's just something that she can't do right now with anyone. She is open though to dating Josh and seeing where things go. Marshall, back at the tuxedo shop and as hurt as he is, says that he does love Jackie, but he's done talking. He's leaving it up to her if she wants to reach out. Nick and Vanessa Lachey pop up to basically contribute nothing and just waste time. We then have a little montage of all the ladies trying on dresses and the guys trying on their suits. Tiffany gushes about Brett. Paul says that he loved Micah before he even saw her. Shelby, Shelby, Shelby. She's there to support her bestie Micah and comes across as a totally different person than the last time we saw her. I guess, like Josh, she brings a completely different personality to the table when she's sober. Now she says that she thinks Paul is a really nice guy, but she doesn't know if Micah will say yes. Micah has a touching moment with her mother. Kwame goes on, again, about all his sacrifices. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. If I hear the word sacrifice come out of this man's mouth one more time, if you don't feel Chelsea is worth the sacrifice, Kwame, then just say no on wedding day. Simple. Chelsea tries on her dress, and I love that she had pink pumps on underneath. It's so her, and I love the extraness. Zach admits he's nervous and thinks Bliss is as well. Bliss decides on her dress and says that she's happy she followed her heart, even though she's such a logical person. Back at their apartment, Marshall needs answers, and his first question for Jackie is why did she accept his proposal? She says that what she felt for him in the pods was real, but the outside world got to them. Marshall's response couldn't have been more on point when he asked her if the outside world really got to them or to her. Jackie says that she's emotionally drained from trying to answer all of Marshall's questions, and that her breaking point was the night of Chelsea's party when they got home late and he continued questioning her when she was tired and just wanted to go to bed. She admits that she can't give Marshall what he wants. Marshall says he's never asked anything of her, has always done right by her, and thinks it's rich that she thinks he requires a lot. And I agree. Jackie says she never felt that when you know feeling with Marshall, no matter how hard she tried. And then she drops the ultimate bomb.
Marshall, I can't love you because I'm attracted to Josh.
Marshall asks Jackie what she's really trying to say, and she says she doesn't want to be with him anymore and wants to pursue a relationship with Josh. Marshall asks Jackie for the ring back, and she refuses.
Take it easy, and we'll see you around. Maybe, maybe not.
Nah, you won't.
Okay.
Ooh, I wanted to slap that smug look off her face so bad. Marshall bears his soul as he's packing his stuff. He said he came into the experiment wanting marriage, following his heart, presenting his true self, and that he just chose wrong. Jackie tries to pretend, for half a minute, that she actually cared about hurting him and fails miserably. She does have somewhat of an epiphany, though, that I didn't think she'd ever have, so I guess at least that's a step, maybe?
I can't walk down the aisle with this man. I don't even know if I'm gonna be with Josh. I don't know if I'm gonna be with anybody. Damn, I'm crazy. I need to probably do some self-work.
5 days before the weddings, Chelsea and Kwame do a sexy engagement photo shoot. Personally, I couldn't wait for this scene to end. They both made me roll my eyes so far in the back of my head it hurt when Chelsea says that Kwame's perfect and he says he's never wanted to be with anyone else more. Kwame brings up his mother again and says he needs to try to talk to her before the wedding day. He admits that he doesn't believe his mother will show up. Kwame says that he grew up under strict rules surrounding things like dating and premarital sex. He's also never introduced any girlfriends to his family. Chelsea says that she will support Kwame no matter what, but asks him if he would be willing to still say yes without his mother's approval. Tiffany is stressed. There's a lot to do before her big day, and she just wants everything to be perfect. Brett does his best to comfort her. 4 days before the weddings, Paul and Micah visit a blacksmith to have their wedding bands made. Kwame tries to call his mom again, but she doesn't pick up. Brett and Tiffany go on an adventure that starts with a short-distance plane ride and ends with a very romantic dinner, complete with a display of some beautiful photos Brett took of Tiffany. She cries again, but happy tears this time. 3 days before the weddings, Zach meets Bliss's dad, stepmom, and a couple of her younger siblings. Bliss's dad asks Zach about fishing and golfing, both activities Zach is not into. Then they get into what sounds like an incredibly boring conversation about law. Someone please tell me why this one's at the dinner table with shades on? The whole vibe is just totally off and awkward. Bliss and her father even get into it a little bit after he lets it be known that he doesn't believe that she's making the right decision. Episode 11. It's a rainy day in Seattle and the weddings are now only 2 days away. Kwame and Chelsea talk about Kwame's mother potentially not giving them her blessing. Kwame continues to give me more reasons to believe that he very well may say no. Chelsea, on the other hand, can't stop talking about how Kwame's made her the happiest she's ever been in her life. It looks like Zach and Bliss have recovered from that train wreck of a dinner with her father and are relaxing in the hot tub, chatting about their concerns and fears leading up to their wedding day. Bliss tells Zach that she doesn't want him to feel like he has to go through with it because he made a decision to put a ring on her finger, and says it's okay if he changes his mind. Brett's father and brother meet Tiffany. His father takes to her right away. He speaks from the heart and gives the couple some really great advice. I can see how Brett turned out as well as he did with a father like that. All his brothers seem to care about is whether or not Tiffany was down with his hairdo. And she is, so it's all good. With 1 day until the wedding's left, Paul is packing up to leave their home, and it will be the last time he and Micah see each other until the wedding. The bachelor and bachelorette parties begin. Chelsea makes another offhand comment about how if there are any strippers there, her man will be hotter than any of them. There are some burlesque dancers at the guys' party, and poor Zach isn't into it at all, seeing as how his mother was a stripper. All Chelsea can seem to do at her bachelorette party is go on and on about Kwame. She also reveals to her friends that his mother is not coming to the wedding. We go back to the guys, and Kwame confirms it. Then, I don't know how, but we go from Kwame looking like he's about to shed tears over the situation with his mother to going into a diatribe about Seattle.
I'll be honest, I know Seattle's gonna hate me for this, but like, Seattle, you're overpriced. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are Lamar Odom with Michael Jordan prices. You're not that great. But, you know, I'm trying to get over that.
Where did that even come from? Zach talks to his friends about how perfect Bliss is for him and how evident it was when they were in the pods. Really, Zach? But you still chose Irina. Bliss has a heart-to-heart with her sister. She confesses that she is ready for marriage, but still unsure if it's meant to be with Zach, even though she loves him deeply. Brett tells his friends that Tiffany is the first woman he's ever been in love with. He's sure he wants to say yes on wedding day, but he doesn't want to be too overconfident to assume that she will as well. Tiffany says she feels she's met her equal. Paul raves about all the things he loves about Micah. Micah is 3 sheets to the wind and making an ass of herself with her friends. Drunk Shelby makes an appearance again and starts going on about how Paul isn't it again. Micah says all she wants is her support. Finally, it's time for a wedding. It's Chelsea and Kwame's big day. She tells us what we already know, and that's she's been preparing her whole life to marry a man like Kwame. We then see a montage of the positive highlights of their time together. Kwame arrives and says that he doesn't believe anyone in their right mind wouldn't have reservations under the circumstances. Then, and I'm sorry, but I laughed so hard when I saw Kwame's compilation of highlights, and they're all, I'll just say, nowhere near as positive as Chelsea's. As Chelsea gets her hair done, she touches on how ready she is for this moment, but has some fears about Kwame not being as ready. Kwame's brother and sister arrive, and he is visibly very happy to see them. They are a breath of fresh air for me, so loving and supportive. And then it begins. Kwame looks like he would rather be at a dentist appointment. His sister asks him if he wrote his vows. What do you think Kwame's answer was? Yup, you're right. Kwame walks in first with his sister, who is so cute and tearing up the whole way in. When Chelsea walks down the aisle, I tried to gauge Kwame's facial expressions and body language, but I couldn't really tell one way or the other how he was feeling. They exchange vows, and then the moment comes when we find out whether they say I do or not. Chelsea says it without hesitation. And Kwame says,
Do you, Kwame, take Chelsea to be your lawfully wedded wife?
It looks like we'll find out in the next episode. Okay, I can't lie, I'm a little glad that we only got one concrete answer in these batch of episodes, since I didn't add in my predictions for the couples that I wanted to at the end of episode 8, so I'll do that now. I will say I am very surprised that Marshall and Jackie split before the altar. I really didn't see that coming. But even if they had made it to the wedding day, I do believe that they wouldn't have gotten married because I always figured he would say yes and she would say no. I'm not surprised Chelsea said yes. That was a given. I do predict that Kwame will say no. Brett and Tiffany and Paul and Micah, I predict, will all say yes. Zach and Bliss are a bit of a wild card to me. One part of me thinks that they will get married, but another part of me thinks that Zach will say yes, but Bliss will say no. Episode 12 is the finale and will then be followed by the live reunion that Sunday. So let me know in the comments how you feel about what happened in these latest 3 episodes and your predictions for the weddings. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!